about. Anyway, speaking of hate crimes, it's that time of night. You ready?
I am.
All right.
And now, the nobody saw it happen, but it's totally a product of Trump's America hoax hate crime of the week.
Ah, shit, it's backwards. You think they'll notice?
Well, on March 8th, racist graffiti. It's just a never-ending parade of these stories lately. Racist graffiti was found on a school bathroom wall at Our Lady of Mercy School for Young Women. This is an all-girls Catholic middle and high school in Rochester, New York. Students of color at the school said at the time they did not feel safe on campus after such a display of hate.
It's scary that I have to go into school knowing that there's somebody there that has those feelings, has those thoughts towards the Black community.
News of racist graffiti found in their school bathroom left the Reese sisters frightened. Graffiti found on the bathroom wall included the N-word and read, "Get out or else." The Brighton Police Department is investigating it as a hate crime.
You know, these type of incidents really don't have any place anywheres, let alone in a school setting. It's supposed to be a safe environment for kids to learn.
The school is offering counseling to students.
The girls themselves are struggling with it. The faculty and staff are struggling.
Schools have camera footage, and we are going to look to see who was in the hallway, to see who went in the bathroom, and we will try our best to narrow down that time frame.
Oh, good Lord.
Just to be double clear on what the writing said, it said in what looks like pretty feminine handwriting. I guess that makes sense, though, because this was the girls' bathroom. Anyway, the handwriting says, "This school is filled with a bunch of N-words. Get out or else." And N-words is underlined.
The school filled with a bunch of N-words?
But let's get to the facts here. Is that
Yeah.
an accurate characterization? Well, it's underlined 6 times. What was the one that we had previously? There was like a triple underliner not long ago. This is a 6 underline.
So late.
What is that? Is that a hexa underline? Do I have my prefix right?
Yes.
A hexaline, N-word. Anyway, of course, students, dozens of students protested outside the school immediately after. And as the police spokesman there said, the school and the police did follow up with an investigation. And shockingly, at least according to one report, a black girl has confessed to doing it, though that is disputed. It might have been a Hispanic girl. But 4 sources speaking...
A Hispanic girl would not do this on behalf of the Black community. They hate each other.
Well, maybe it was real hate, I suppose, is the claim.
Huh. Interesting.
But according to Rochester area talk radio host Bob Lonsberry, he says he has 4 sources, including 2 in government, that said the culprit is an African-American student. But not true, says a local woman who apparently chronicles high school sports. She says the student who did it is Hispanic. So it's really a question of who do you believe. The school confirms that, this confirms publicly that its investigation has concluded and that a student confessed, but they won't say anything about the student's identity. They say for legal reasons, and in accordance with the school's confidentiality practices, the student will not be identified, including the race of the student. The school says appropriate and maximum disciplinary action has been taken, but they won't say what that is. I mean, to me, that implies expulsion if it's maximum, but that would just be my own inference. They didn't say that. And the police are not charging the student. So that, to me, is an indicator that it's definitely not a white chick who did this, because if it was, charges would be filed. If they're saying, we know who it is, we've heard the investigators say that several times in recent weeks. Well, it's not a hate crime by virtue of the fact that a student of color did it.
Yeah.
I assume the same reasoning applies here, and that's why there are no charges.
No one's asking the important questions on this.
What?
Do Black high school girls want attention from the media more than Latina high school girls hate Black people?
That is that's a really difficult scale to balance there. It's a really tough one to weigh.
I think it's the Black girl wants attention.
All right, we'll go with that. That's what
We've been here before. I saw this in the notes. I was like, didn't we talk about this like 7 weeks in a row?
They
Is it
all
the same
kind of
one?
run together. No, the one that won't quit is the colored drinking fountain. We've seen several iterations of that. So maybe that one will be back. But hey, you know what else comes back is actual hate crimes against Asian people in urban centers that we never hear much about, or at least comparatively much less about. And again, we have an example, San Francisco style, of an attacker of color saying to an Asian victim, hey, in this case, you Asian bitch, punch, punch, stomp, stomp.
I know. Unfortunately, there was no excremento in anybody's face on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Because this was in New York City. But this is a bad one. This lady's like might die. So Tamel Esco, a brother, arrested after allegedly calling a 67-year-old woman an Asian bitch, then followed her into her building and severely beat her on Friday in Yonkers, which is north of New York City. Surveillance video from the building's vestibule. Did I just have a stroke?
That's
They
a
show
weird
that
word,
the woman
for sure.
she was attempting to open the second door into her lobby like she had gotten in the first, and he like pulls her out and he hits her on the head from behind. She falls to the ground, and then he punches her 125 times, and then he stomps on her a bunch. And then
How
he
long does
spits on
that
her.
take? Because I didn't even bother trying to edit this footage because I know Susan wouldn't let me show it.
Oh, he like wails on her for like 3 minutes.
100 punches, even if you're going as fast
125
as you
punches.
can, that's going to take a
Mhm.
minute.
The woman who they have not identified yet is recovering in the hospital. She's in stable condition, supposedly, but she broke a bunch of bones in her face, and she has a brain bleed from the assault. And he's been charged with attempted murder as a hate crime.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. Actual hate crime charges.
Yeah. Well, he did call her an Asian bitch.
But
So if you want to attack an old woman, just don't identify her race before you do it, and you won't get a hate crime.
Or if you must, just go to San Francisco. You can get away with it there, but apparently it's too much for New York. You can't do it there. I am surprised, but I guess credit where due. I'm not a fan of hate crime charges, as we've discussed many times, but if the laws are on the books, this has to be one. And apparently they're going with it. So